So here we are, starting the best of list as we went through the 10 worst songs in 2021. Now we're going to look through the 10 best songs in 2021, at least in my opinion. These are 10 songs that I heard this year that I just absolutely cannot get enough of, that I absolutely love. Keep in mind that I have not heard majority of what's come out this year because I just haven't had the time, and I just kind of didn't listen to a lot of modern pop or rap music because I just knew that it wasn't a good year for either genre in this case. I may have heard some songs, but they're just not genres that interest me too much to really want to go and listen because I already know how that's going to turn out. But yeah, the rules for this list, the song could have came out last year as a single, but dropped on an album in 2021, making it eligible. It can be any song. It doesn't have to be like a single or anything like I did a couple of years ago or like I did last year. It can be any song from an album that came out this year, and it's going to be narrowed down to one per artist because it is a top 10 list. So if I were to put 3 songs from an artist on here as opposed to one for everybody else, it just wouldn't make it fair. So you're only seeing an artist on here once. There will be no repeats, I can tell you that much. But yeah, with that being said, let's get it started with number 10. So I got a confession. I'm Austin Orr, and I enjoyed Limbiskin in 2021. Give me my medicine! At least was very 50-50, and this song was one of the ones that shocked me. Frankly, because it's not even new metal for Limbiskin, it's definitely something different. They tried this, it's like a mixture of like punk and metalcore. It was very interesting how they went about doing this song, and for Fred Durst, I didn't know he could scream like that. Like, I knew he could scream, but I didn't know he could scream like that. Like, it really, really impressed me. And I think the only thing I hate about this song is that it's so short. Like, you have a potential to do way more with it, and it's only 2.5 minutes long. Other than that, I can get down with it. I can really vibe to it. Like, it was really, really weird, or it feels really, really weird of me saying that I can vibe to Limbiskin in 2021, but they did different things, and this was one of those songs where they did something different very well. Hailstorm is definitely back from the dead. This is the heaviest I think I've heard them get. I mean, Lzzy Hale's voice probably like at her peak right now. She's getting better and better within each release. Not that her voice has ever been bad, but like it's starting to get grittier and more rough and more tough, and you can definitely feel just what they're going for here, and I'm excited for the new album mainly because this song just slaps, got a great music video to it, and frankly, I really want to hear this thing live. Like, if they come anywhere near Pennsylvania or DC or Maryland, I'm all in. I know this might be a weird one to pick out of the Asking Alexandria songs on the new album, but the reason I chose this one is because this has been the song since it's come out that's kind of helped me through some tough moments. I mean, it's basically a song about telling someone, hey, you know, you're worth it. You're more than anybody can ever tell you, and just the fact that you made it this far should be applauded, and you should be happy with where you're heading. Like, it's just a feel-good song overall that I feel like definitely deserves more attention. I mean, don't get me wrong, the singles from this record I think are great too, but I really, really like this song. It kind of, you know, dips his toe into a little bit of a ballad, but also still into like that modern stadium rock type feel. Like, Asking Alexandria definitely did a good job with this one, and of course I can't picture anybody else but Danny Worsnop singing this song. Like, it's just so perfect for them, and it really, really just does its thing throughout its whole 4-minute runtime. Hey, hey, keep my mouth shut and wait. Surprise! This is actually not a bad song. I enjoyed it. I mean, yeah, the Tickets to My Downfall album that came out last year was not good, but it had moments on there, as I mentioned, that I did like. And then we get this new single for Paper Cuts, which is an album that is supposed to be out apparently like right at the end of the year, December 31st, like really like in a couple weeks at this point. And I just remember hearing this song and going, huh, this is an improvement. MGK's voice still gets on my nerves, but at least when he says, I'm doing more guitar-driven rock music, at least he's telling the truth this time. Like, it reminds me a lot of that riff of Brain Stew by Green Day. Like, it just has that, like, nah-nah, like, that kind of thing. And I don't know, the intensity's a lot better. It's a lot catchier than the other stuff he was putting out. Like, it actually really, really brought me back to want to listen to it more, to a point where when they play it on the radio, I'm not like, ugh, oh god, turn it off, like they did with My Bloody Valentine. I actually want to sit and I want to listen to it. It's weird to say. I'm not saying that MGK's won me over with the whole pop, punk, and rock thing. I'm just saying that this is an improvement, and if he keeps going this route, who knows, maybe it will be the song that wins me over. Blue Dream by Weezer has been my favorite off of Van Weezer for a while, and again, had some great singles, but for some reason, I don't know if it's just that crazy train riff that, you know, they sample or what, but it's another Weezer song that if you didn't tell somebody that was Weezer before they heard it, they wouldn't believe you. But they definitely took this whole, you know, 80s heavy metal vibe that the album had to offer, and they just went with it 100%. And with a song like Blue Dream, it definitely did work. It's catchy, it's memorable, and just fantastic. I told you long ago on the road, I got what they waiting for. This song pops. Now, I can't necessarily relate to it, but I mean, come on. I mean, Lil Nas X has so won me over. I was not necessarily a big fan in 2019 when he released that EP, and, you know, I think Old Town Road just got on everybody's nerves. But with a song like this, like, goddamn, this is high intensity. Him and Jack Harlow both do an excellent job, and that chorus is just so fucking catchy that you can't help but sing along. Poppy doing punk music. That's right, she keeps just delving into these other genres that just when you thought she was done, no, she's continuing to do her thing. This was her first album with her full control, and she decided instead of one set genre, she was going to do a bunch of different things. The metal is still kind of present in places, but she takes more of like a grunge route, a dream pop route, and even a punk route here with this song, Lessen the Damage. I mean, again, it's only 2.5 minutes, but I love the intensity it brings. It just, it does its job for what it's supposed to do. And this isn't the first time she's delved into like something punk. She did a cover of the Jack Off Jill song, Fear of Dying, so we kind of got that preview of what it would sound like if she were to do punk, and this being a punk song, it just straight up bops. Like, I would definitely recommend listening to it. It comes smack dab in the middle of the first 3 tracks, where you have Flux at track 1 and So Mean at track 3 that are 2 singles, so it's like smack dab in the middle of singles. But I mean, it is great for what it is and could even be a single itself. Making a Fire is one of my favorite opening tracks, I think, off of any album this year. Just from the opening drums to the guitar and even the weird choir that comes in with the na-na-nas. Like, most of the time you wouldn't like na-na-nas in a song, but these just fit so well, and I feel like Foo Fighters dipping into the more, I guess, funkier type stuff was a little weird as well, but they made it work, and definitely rebounded from a disappointing 2017 album in Concrete and Gold, which I will say had the better singles, but when it came to like overall album and structure, it was very disappointing. But with this new album, it was 9 straight up tracks, and Making a Fire kicking it off was like the perfect one. Like, they picked the perfect song. There wouldn't have been any other song on that record that would have made a great kickoff. So good on you, Foos. You did it again. Number 1 and number 2 were so hard, but we have The Game Is Over by Evanescence at number 2. Yes, this came out in 2020, but again, this came out on an album in 2021, so it meets that rule. This is a banger. This is them taking a trip back to more of the new metal stuff that they were used to doing, just getting back to pure rock. Like, there's nothing like orchestral about it. It's just pure rock. Evanescence and Amy Lee's vocals, again, just continue to just be amazing. Like, there's no doubt about that. I really like the bass line that goes throughout. The drums are fantastic. Everybody does their job, and even Jen, I think her name is Marjorie. I don't know how to say her name. I apologize, because again, I butchered that. You can hear her backing vocals on this too, and it definitely helps Amy Lee in this case, because not that Amy Lee needs any rest, but, you know, there's definitely times in songs where, you know, Amy Lee doing both of the backing vocals, you would never tell, but with Jen there, it definitely brings a new presence in and makes the vocals even better than they already are. And when you're able to take Amy Lee's vocals and help make them better, that says a lot about what you're contributing there. So yeah, End of the Game has been a banger since it came out and has been one of my absolute favorites since the album. But there was one song this year that swooped in late and said, I'm going to take Song of the Year from Evanescence, and that was this one. Congratulations, Korn. For the second time in 3 years, you have Song of the Year. As in 2019, your song Cold, at least in my opinion, was the #1 song in 2019 for me. And now here in 2021, Start the Healing swoops in, having come out in around, I think it was late October, early November, and just blowing me away. It's definitely different than what Cold was, whereas Cold was the more heavier type track. This one goes back to Korn doing the more, I guess, not mainstream, but the more softer type stuff. Like, you get more clean vocals. The chorus is catchy, I like it, and the way the verses roll, they definitely do their job. Like, it still feels like a Korn song, despite them going way out of left field and doing something different. So I think that's why I appreciate it so much, is it's not going to be the same shit that we've heard over and over. They're doing something completely different. And it's not like we haven't heard this from them before. It's just something that after last album, where they kind of went back to being a little bit more heavier than what we had expected, they kind of tone it down again, but they do it so much better to where pretty much the fans that like the heavier stuff are actually very appreciative of this song. Like, it just, for some reason, fits so well into their lore. And will it ever be a top, 10 Korn song, top tier? No, but I think for a lead-off single, it really, really brings people in and really will bring them to the album, which comes out February 4th of 2022, by the way, so just right before I go on my road trip, so that's good. I will be reviewing that album definitely when it comes out, but usually when songs come out late October, early November, I don't put them on this list for the sole fact that I've already started kind of making up my year-end list. This song was just too good for me to not leave off the list, and I just cannot stop listening to it, and I think that's why it's #1, is because just since its release, it's just been so pounded into my head that I just have to listen to it every day, sometimes more than once, because it's that good. So yeah, 2 year-end list down, 2 to go. We've talked about the songs. Next, we're going to talk about the albums, and I'm going to give you my top 10 worst albums that I've heard this year. Mostly probably, maybe we'll disagree. I don't know, we'll see when that time comes, but just remember, my #1 album is saved for the most disappointing album this year. It's not necessarily the worst album, but it's the most disappointing to where I had so much high hopes for it, only to be let down in the end. So #1 will surprise you because it's a band that I like, but it's not the worst thing that came out this year. I decided to do that this year with a little twist. I didn't want them to be repetitive in the state of, oh yeah, these bands are in the top 3 every year or something like that of the sort of this artist. So, Justin Bieber, you're welcome. You avoid being worst album of the year for the 2nd year in a row just because of that rule. But that's kind of a little bit of a spoiler, not too much of a spoiler. Other than that, you can tell me in the comments below what are some songs that you absolutely love this year. Doesn't necessarily have to be a top 10, just songs that you heard that came out this year that are just etched inside your brain for, at least for a good bit, that I don't know about forever, but at least right now, you just can't get enough of them. But until then, have a Merry Christmas, stay safe out there, and I will catch you all in the next one. Don't jump off